We are two sisters
with few fears
and great ambition,
ready to take on the world
one ocean at a time. Hello everybody, we're back. Good to see you guys again this week on
Sailing the Far Side. Alright guys, welcome to our project video. There is no sailing, just good old projects on the boat.
So this week we are going over all the projects that we did, mostly the major projects. And we did a little, somewhat of a tutorial through them all. If any of you are going to install any, say, AIS, VHF antenna, need to patch up any dinghy, anything, just check out in the description below. We're going to put times of where exactly each project is happening, so you don't have to go through the whole video. If you want to, you'll see us working on projects, figuring things out, but also you can skip through and to the parts that you really want to see. Guess what? We finally got our Mantis Marine anchor!
Yes, we did. Luca, it's not for you.
Sleepful nights
On the boat.
trustworthy anchor. Wow.
Doesn't look that big.
And then the bottom part, it's kind of heavy, but
I know.
let's bring the other one. There we go. New anchor. Oh, it's kind of heavy. We got to use her once so far, and yeah, she holds a lot better than our old CQR.
We have our stanchions here. We had a leak, so we tend to kind of pull on the stanchions when we're getting onto the boat. So once in a while, we have to re-caulk and reseal.
Yeah.
So
well, they're held through the deck by was it 5-inch bolts?
Yeah.
So they actually go through the deck, and then we screw them tight
with a plate.
to a plate. Yeah, stainless steel plate inside the boat. So sometimes that caulking will fail and it'll cause water to leak in. So that was one of our projects. We had to fix one of the stanchions. And
It kind of made it difficult. We had to get new plates, but in the end it worked out, and no more leak. So this is actually hilarious. While we were in Nassau, Jaws Beach, we lost our hacksaw. We didn't know if it had stuck in a locker somewhere or had fallen into the water. We have no idea. And I just found it. Alright, so this is where we store everything, right? You don't see anything, nothing. And then open this door, and what is that? What is that? It was just hanging here. Insane. Look at that. Huh.
we were cleaning out some of the closets and discovered that we have a leakage problem. Let's see. Leak. Does not look pretty. Not good. And so, had to unscrew the stanchions so that way we could put some new caulking in. Help seal the deck so that way we don't have that water leaking anymore. So as you can see, we unscrewed it. We have to take this out as well, so that way we can get the stanchions to fully seal onto the deck. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand this. Clean it up. These acetone and everything off.
Ooh.
Put some fresh caulking on. So now we have it all taped off. So you don't want that black caulking getting anywhere. It gets everywhere. Put this back on, screw it in. Same here. I'm gonna put caulking down. So Nathalie's gonna go downstairs. Let to dry. All good for tomorrow. Hopefully no more leaking.
So we stored the dinghies on land, and we had a little weed whacking incident, but I patched them all up. We got them all filled, and I patched them up, and now they're holding air. Air. And then what we do is, to get them back on the boat, we use our spinnaker halyard and we swing them over. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we have a little bit of trouble. It's a heavy dinghy. So before I started, each patch looked like this, which this spot's next. But now it looks like this. Next step was to tape it off. Next step was to clean it with Toluene. It's a little less harsh than acetone. So clean it off. The next step is to sand it, to roughen it up a little bit. And then you clean it again. It's very important that you clean it again. And now the next step is to use polymarine. You can get it at West Marine. Gotta be very careful with mixing them. But that is the next step, so I will be back with that.
Got it? Got it?
One broke, so now we're replacing all of the top safety lines. We're bringing them to Fort Lauderdale. Hopefully by the end of the weekend, they'll be finished.
Yes. So a major project that we wanted to get done was installing our AIS. Last year, as for those of you who have been following us know, we almost got run down by a freighter while crossing the Gulf Stream. So while we were in the Bahamas, of course, it was a story that we told, and everyone's like, you need AIS. And our dad, being a cruiser, of course, but quite a while ago, hadn't really heard of AIS. We were not familiar with AIS, so we made sure to get that on the boat, have safer crossing, and honestly, we love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's fun.
And it's fun to...
Yeah, it's fun to go and see the other boats that are around you, where they are, what they draw, how big they are, how fast they're going. So it's cool.
Where they're going.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go past their destination, and then we're like, where are you going?
But AIS is fun to have, but it was quite a project to install. So, but got it done, and now we're safer out here on the water.
Sasha's smart.
Thanks. What are we doing?
Rewiring and cleaning.
So today I'm going to be installing our AIS. I already have our VHF splitter, antenna splitter up right here. This is our AIS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here. And then both of them are going to need power. So what we're going to do is, this is the power cable for the AIS. As you can see here, this is the power supply for the VHF splitter. We have the VHF power supply right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'm going to put a connector on the back wires where the power is coming from. I'm gonna connect all three radio, antenna splitter, and the AIS power all into one and connect that to the main power supply. When we turn on the radio breaker, our AIS and everything's gonna be on, and obviously when we're underway or sailing anywhere really, we have our radio on, so the AIS will be on. Figured that was the best way. I'd say for a first time, not too bad. And now for the moment of truth. Will it all turn on?
A lot of the decking, some of the caulking in the deck is coming up. So what I had to go, I went around and found the loose parts, and then I kind of gouged them out of the deck with our special tool. And then we went around and Sasha and I re-caulked the deck as well. There were also some areas of the deck that was coming up, so I had to glue back the decking to the boat, to the fiberglass underneath. Yeah, now we have no more leaks. It's kind of nice to have a dry boat on the inside. All right, so today's project is sanding and caulking. This is our fancy little teak decking systems sander, which prepares the groove for caulking. We have to put it in the groove. And then sand. And then it's ready. All right, next step is acetone. Get a little bit of acetone and then get in the crevices. Gotta make sure everything is clean. You see, this is not clean. All right, so we're caulking, everybody. Woohoo! Yeah. Oh, she's gonna look good. Went through and sanded all this the other day. Got some spots we need to fix up, but after that, she's gonna be sealed, no leaks, and then the deck will be ready for the teak finisher sealant.
So finally, time to get the engine started. The engine's been sitting now for about 8 months, and she hasn't been run, nothing, so it's time to get her started, see how she runs, see if we need to do anything. We did have an issue. We turned over first we had to open the raw water intake, which was a little tricky. It was a little stuck with barnacles. Then once we got that all open and good, we started the engine, but the alternator wasn't spinning. So I noticed that the belt was getting hot and letting off some smoke. So I looked and saw that the alternator wasn't turning. So we sprayed a little bit of WD-40 in there and some anti-seize. And then we used a wrench, or I used a wrench and cranked it, got it loose, got it spinning, so that way when the engine turned over, that belt was actually gripping and turning the alternator as well. And after that, she started right up. So we had the wet exhaust was working, we had water coming out of the back, so the engine was being cooled, exhaust was coming, so everything was working great. It was awesome. So now, what are we doing? we're gonna start the engine, and to start the engine we have to turn the raw water on, so that's what I'm doing right now. That's the raw water intake right here that I'm trying to turn on. As you can see, I'm trying to get it on and it is spilling raw water, so I gotta stop that.
Yeah, there's water. Last time around, we had issues with the windlass where sometimes it would strain or it would just it wouldn't draw enough power from the battery. So our solution was to install its own battery.
Yeah.
So we had to put a battery underneath our V-berth and run cables up to the windlass. And now it runs great. It runs like a champ.
Yeah. Well, the big thing about that was our battery bank sits all the way in the back of the boat, and that's a long way for that current to run, especially with everything in between, the outlets, lights, everything. So it just didn't draw enough current from the back of the boat. So that was the main reason we did that, and just to have an extra battery on the boat as well.
What are you doing? I'm just checking to see how long these cables need to be. So this is the new windlass battery. So this is where it has to attach right here. This is where the boat battery in the back is attached. And these are going to be the cables that are going to attach here and here for the over here and there for the new battery.
So Nathalie finished it here. As you can see, we have the terminals connected. And they lead up here, the V-berth underneath. Now I want to show them what you did.
Yeah. So they came up from here. The red cable went to the breaker box right here because one of them needs to be connected to the breaker box. Then the red cable goes up to here. And then you can see it comes off right there and comes all the way to the windlass here. But the black cable, you can see the old cable is right here. It came straight from the boat power, which is right here. But the new cable is coming down from here, and then down from here, comes up, and attaches at the bottom right there. So that's so that it doesn't burn out and it continues to work for us. Yay. Yay.
So just quick fix. To make sure the battery here is getting recharged when it's being used, we have to make sure that the old black and red cables are still connected. So as Nathalie explained, the old red one is still connected. Now she's reconnecting the old black cable, which runs directly from the connected to the battery bank in the back. So as that battery bank recharges, it'll run through the windlass, and this battery will get recharged as well. It's finally time to get the outboard engines on the boat. Before we do that though, we want to make sure they're running. So we had quite a bit of fun with this actually. So of course you have to make sure that the engines have water for the intake. You don't want to burn out those impellers, it's not good. You can't run an engine dry. Big no-no. So for those of you boaters, if you're ever going into boating, you're buying a boat, anything, never run any boat engine dry. So we tried the rabbit ears at first, which just pushes water over the intakes, but it wasn't getting enough water, so we brought a bucket of water out. Kind of cracked, so we had it looks a little interesting, but both engines did end up running and we got them on the boat. So it's a couple more things that we got to check off the list. So right now we are getting the engines, the Dingy engines back on the boat. But first, we are going to make sure that they are running. So what I'm gonna do is just have a bucket of water. Put a bucket of water underneath, run it, make sure it works, and then get it on the boat. So the reason we have these, which are called rabbit ears, on the engine is to keep the engine from burning out. You need water running through the engine so that otherwise the impeller will burn out. So this is gonna keep water running through the water intake, which you can see is right there. This covers it completely. And now we can start the engine when it's out of the water.
If it starts.
So also we had a lightning strike over the summer, and
As we all know and have mentioned a few times.
many.
But it was major.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad lightning strike, which is what set us back a couple months to start with. So that was a big project, installing that VHF antenna. The old VHF antenna, the plug was corroded into the old unit, so I ended up having to cut it off the cable. Had to reinstall a new plug, so that was interesting because I had to solder the plug on, or solder the little piece onto the cable all the way at the top of the mast, which is 64 feet up. That was interesting. But I got the VHF antenna all connected, working. Radio worked great after installing the AIS. AIS also worked, which is super cool. Got to see. I'm glad that
I was quite surprised. I was, assuming something wouldn't work, but good job.
There's so much belief in me.
Everything worked.
As long as you follow instructions, everything works. Joking. But no, so yeah, it was all a big project, but glad that all the tinkering ended up working out. Ice grip. You're getting a 5-star review. You did a great job holding this VHF antenna up. Okay, ignore all the scratches. But we are done. I have no idea how to do this. I'm gonna burn myself. Broke it.
No, you were supposed to just take it off because it's deformed.
Oh, shit. We put the engine in.
We had to put the engine.
Yeah, so we had to. Of course, you have to make sure that there's. Of course, you have to make sure that. I'm so bad at this. So. All right. Let's stop it now. I need someone to massage my neck. It hurts so bad.
Poor Judgy Wudgy.